How do you add £100,000 in revenue to a business in less than 50 minutes? Today, I'm in the studio with Lee Price from Secret Service Singers. Lee is one of our great clients and he's in one of our coaching programs, achieving amazing results. Already trebled his revenue working with us. And in this next 50 minutes, I'm going to show him how to double that again. You are going to be learning so much, it's going to transform your business too. And if you don't know me, my name is Adam Stott. I've done over 156 million in revenue in my business career. Started my first business ever in 2008, age 25, and have built multiple 7- and 8-figure businesses since. We are going to be drawing on that experience, the ups, the downs, the twists, the turns, and really helping Lee to build out his business. And what we're going to be doing in this session is we're going to be working with Lee on a business audit. We're going to be looking at his challenges. We're going to get deep into those challenges, and I'm going to give him lots of advice and guidance on how to put things right. I haven't seen what Lee is going to say to me. I know just the big picture. I don't know the detail. This is going to be all off the cuff, jumping in, working on his business live, real time. So enjoy yourself, buckle up, strap in, make sure you're following us along in the comments. And if you haven't, of course, subscribed yet, go and do that too. Let's dive into this episode of the Business Growth Secrets Audit.
Hi guys, my name is Lee. I am the owner of Secret Service Singers. So we go into weddings, corporate events, parties, charity events, the lot. When you find that lull, when the guests are at their tiredest, when it's just after the meal, we go in there, we blend in as waiters all day, and then we smash out an entire performance. We get everyone on their feet. We bring two families together as one at a wedding, and people absolutely love it. And there's no lull throughout the day, and they go away with memories for the rest of their life, way after that first dance. People come back to them in 10 years' time saying things like, "Oh my God, thank you for having us there," and they love it.
Really pleased to have you here, Lee, on the Business Growth Secrets Audit. Love your business, and obviously you've been working with us for a period of time now, and you've done great things. You won A Player of the Month, which means you get stuff done, you take lots of action, which is why we've invited you in today to look at your business. What I wanted to do with you today is to get even more under the hood, understand what your challenges are, and the deeper we go into the challenge, the bigger outcome we can look to get. You know, for me, I just want to help you. I want to help you to make more money. I want to help you save more time and generally have an easier journey in the business. You've done really well already. You've built a good business. You've just come in and introduced yourself. You understand the benefits of your business very well. You communicate the problem and how you solve the problem well. Let's dive into the business now. What's happening underneath the hood of the business at the moment, and where are you currently?
So we're the UK's most loved singing waiters, and we are 6-time award winners in 2025 so far already, with more nominees counting as well. So the business revenue before I met you, Adam, was at 29k between Jan and August, and then after I met you to now, I've scaled that to 104k, and total so far is 133k. As of today, that's gone up to 136k.
Right.
So
I think first of all, that's a big round of applause to you, mate. You know, to take the business from 30,000 in revenue to 100,000 in revenue in a short period of time, that shows what an A player you are. I know you've got loads of work ethic, so well done on growing that revenue. And when you grow revenue like that in a business, you've trebled the business in a short period of time. That's going to present itself with growth challenges. So let's try and understand those. That's awesome.
Yeah. So this is my advert. So I took what you gave me. I've taken all of your advice. I've really hit the pain points. I'll get their attention straight away. One of Jim's gems was the fact that boring wedding alert. So I capture their attention straight away because people are like, see that as an insult. I ain't got a boring wedding. And then straight away I asked them the main question: are they getting married in this year? Let's crank up that fun. And then imagine this, so I'm getting them to picture it straight away. So our celebrity singing waiters are blending in as regular staff and serving your guests all day. Then out of nowhere, boom, we burn into that massive epic performance that'll leave the guest smiling in awe forever. And then we throw in there that we are a 6-time award winning in 2025. We are the UK's most loved singing waiters company. We won an award for that from a company called Hitch that specialise in weddings. We bring unforgettable moments to the wedding day. The cake gets eaten, the flowers wilt, but the memories that we create, they last a lifetime. And then we throw in our little CTA. Dates are going really fast. Lock in your dream wedding entertainment with a free quote right now.
Okay, so before we move on from that, I think you've done that really well. Okay, there's some good copy there. I understand the creative there as well really shows that experience. And this is the lead form that you're currently running.
So from here goes straight into a lead form. So they tell me their date, their venue address, because without that I can't do anything. Their full name and obviously their contact details. And then since I've put this up in the last month, you see at the bottom here, my ad is performing 61% lower than all of my peers. So in the back end of Meta, which I all learned through your strategies, put in all my competitors' details, and the Meta is really powerful, and it shows us who's competing against what, who's doing what, and it's figured out that my advert's basically the best. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, well, you're doing a good job here, right? So let's keep going, and let's see. There are tweaks that we can make to tweak that a little bit, which could give us some different performance levels. But let's first of all find out where we're at, and then we'll work from there. Okay, great. So you've got some stats
for
me,
March. Yeah, so for March, my rough outgoings per month, it does obviously increase or decrease from month to month depending on how many gigs I have per month. March is a pretty slow month because wedding season starts as of April. So my outgoings per month on average is 2.5k. Obviously, the more weddings I have, then that does go up because I have to pay singers, fuel, hotel, accommodation, etc. So my ad spend for March was £925. The sales that I made in March were £6,485. My cost per lead, so I got 104 leads at £8.84, but that was generated for March, and I figured out that for every pound that I put into my ad spend, on average, I get in return £7.
Just so you know, just for everybody else that's watching this, if you're watching this for the first time, this is really good. Lee has done a mega job at crafting a powerful advert with some great copy that really grabs people's attention, makes them inquire. He is also performing very well. His ROAS and his investment return, this is also known as ROAS, so return on ad spend. For every time he puts £1 in, he gets 7 back. So you can imagine this, he just puts more pounds in, he makes more money. We're going to see what the challenges are with that, but I want you to know that this strategy here, Lee's following our programs, he's doing exactly the right thing. He's spending money, he's creating returns, he's generating leads. What I can't wait to do is get in between these numbers and maximize, right? Which is going to be really cool. Thanks, Lee. That's awesome, mate. Keep going, buddy.
Yeah, so my main challenges are at the moment, my conversion rate is pants. It's 4%. So I know that can get a lot better. So out of those 104 leads, only 4 booked. So that puts it around 4%, which I know can be so much more better. At the moment, I'm having a real big issue with a lot of cowboys in the industry doing what I do for less than half the price, but they clearly haven't got the halo effect that I have. Another challenge that I want to get over this year is working less in the business. I want to run the business. I don't want to be in the business as much. I want to pick and choose what I want to do. I still enjoy doing the weddings. I will still forever sing at weddings because I love that. And I want to take a step back from working in it. So I want to create a sales team that go out and increase the conversion rate, which means I have more time to spend with my little boy who's 6. So I'd love to do that.
Okay, so what we've seen here from Lee is now we've brought out the challenges, and we've got 3 challenges, and we've got a big outcome, a big why. Lee wants to spend more time with his boy Hunter, which is awesome. And I think this is something business owners experience all the time. The business consumes them, and it takes away a lot of their private time. Personally, I've experienced the same challenge. I love nothing more than spending time with my little boy Sammy, and that's what I want to be doing, and that's what I enjoy doing. And often, if you don't mechanically add that in and really work hard on how you operate, that becomes difficult. So you don't want to compromise family. You want to have it all. You want to have a great business and be able to spend time with your family. And I'm sure many of you watching will resonate with that. Lee's identified 3 problems. I've identified, just in hearing that from Lee, some more opportunity, which is awesome, which I can't wait to get into. But he's saying specifically, conversion is a challenge at 4%. But I'm going to explain Facebook ads. And what we'll come to see during this is that actually the conversion might not be the challenge, and we're going to work in that in a moment. The second part is the building of the sales team. What's really cool is Lee hasn't got a sales team yet. He's at a standing start, and many of you watching might be at that place, and he's probably feeling like he's doing absolutely everything. We're going to show him how to transition out of that. And then the third step being taking a step back. I think that's what all business owners want. So this is going to be incredible, and I can't wait to jump into it. So, great stuff, Lee. One other thing you just mentioned, which I think is really cool for people watching to understand, as you mentioned, the halo effect. So the halo effect is building a brand that stands you out against your competitors. And you've definitely done that. 6 times award winning in a short period of time. You've built your brand up. You've got great credibility. You've got reasons for clients to choose you. So congratulations on that. Let's jump into these different elements. So to solve problem number 1, your conversion rate, let's go backwards to the slide where, yes, this slide here, and we actually have a look and see where we're at, okay? Because your conversion rate currently, you're mentioning, is 4% from leads generated. And that probably seems like you're generating a lot of leads. You're bringing in a lot of new inquiries into the business. It's taking a lot of your time to phone them, grind through it, go through this process, which makes it difficult. And then you probably feel like you're getting a lot of doors shut in your face, people not responding to you, and you're getting frustrated, okay? Would that be an accurate assessment of where you're at? Yeah, okay, cool. However, it's something that we need to understand about Facebook ads in general, right? So I'll explain this for you and for everyone watching. What we have to imagine is that when you are placing a Facebook ad, literally what is happening is that people are literally sitting there, they're on a train, they're on the toilet, or wherever they are, and they are literally just scrolling through. And they're on a Facebook ad, Instagram ad, whatever, and you're stopping them. And the reason, let's get clear, the reason you're stopping them is you've got a good ad, okay? The reason you're stopping them, so by the way, this is why the lead part is working. Lee has a good ad, he has a good target market, he's got good copywriting, good visuals. That's why his Facebook ads are working in terms of lead generation. So people stop, and when they stop, they then click, and they're only 2 or 3 clicks away from literally giving you their name, their email address, and their phone. So like, click, and it auto-populates their name and their email, and they click, and their phone number, and then they click again. Now, at that point, what you have to realise from a customer journey perspective, people have spent a total of about, if they've read the copy, let's imagine that they've read the copy, not everyone will, read the copy, they've watched the video, and then they've clicked. At the very most, they've spent a minute with your business. At the very most. And that is where they've left the inquiry. So if you look at that 1 minute they've spent with your business in a very, very busy day, people get between 4,000 and 10,000 messages a day. And yes, they've interacted with your business for a minute, but that's like your total relationship is 1 minute long. And that is why your conversion rate is at 4%, not necessarily what you're doing and what you're saying on the phone. It's because the nurture that is required to take those leads from cold, 1 minute spent, to hot requires time. So we need to spend time with these people. This is a critical component, and we've got to figure out how to do that. So that's like the first thing that we've got to do, and that I wanted to mention. So we'll come back to nurture in a moment, because that is going to help us a ton. When we look at this part of the conversion, the bit that I'm looking at is I'm looking at the bigger picture. So for me, the bit that I'm getting really focused on, if I had a digital cash machine and I put £1 in it, if you imagine I've got a cash machine here, it's grey, it's got a slot at the top, it's got a slot at the bottom, and I literally put £1 in it and it spat me £7 out, I was able to get £7, guess what I'll do? I'll put another £7 in. Right? And then it's going to keep generating me money. I got £49, right? And then I'll put the £49 in and then I'll get more money out. I'm just going to keep doing it because this multiplies money. So what you have is you have an ad, you have a process that allows you to multiply money, which is mega. But the problem is the workload between the ad and the money multiplication. That's the problem, right? So what we've got to figure out is the management of that workload, which you've mentioned a sales team, which is awesome because we're going to come to that in a moment. But before we do, I have to ask the question, how much more could you take? Say I doubled that ad spend now, and that doubled our sales. So let's imagine we went to £2,000 and we got 14,000 back in sales. Can you handle this workload? Can you handle this amount of leads? Where are you at in that process?
The amount of time I spend on the phone is quite overwhelming. So if I doubled it, I'd really have to grind hard. I do a lot of stuff outside of my business as well, so I still sing all around the UK. So I'm singing tonight, I'm singing tomorrow night, I'm singing Sunday night. I sing a lot outside, which is nice for me. Good for the business as well. Excuse me. If I doubled it, it would be possible, but I'd be breaking myself.
Yeah, okay. So there's basically we've got to look at what the bottleneck is. Yeah. And the bottleneck at the moment is essentially you in the business, which is very, very common. Okay, so when we look at the leads, so this is the next question which becomes really important, right? And this is, if you're watching this and you've got a business, lots of people would like to be getting this type of modeling, but then you have to consider the time. And the second thing you have to consider is 104 leads generated. You're saying that we converted 4%, right? Which means that out of those 104 leads, we might have 4 deals. Is that about right? Yeah, so we've got about four deals that we brought into the business. What happened to the other 100 people? What happened with those? Tell me about what happened with those 100.
So I do have the CRM system off the back of Gold Circle. A lot of it is automated. So I do have a nurture program that I've built in through the automations. So it looks after them, it sends them emails, it sends them texts, tries to get them excited about talking to me. A lot of them have said things like, for example, you are too expensive because I've found somebody that'll do it for £3.
Yeah.
Nah. So that does happen. So I then have a nurture system of if they see why it's too expensive or they think it's too expensive, it goes into my one automation where it explains the diagram of what goes into it, but the value that they get out of it at the end. That also then goes into another lead, which then nurtures them for a further, I believe, 3 weeks. But then they can obviously opt out of that.
Okay, cool. And in terms of what your objective is, we know your challenges. What would you say, like, your main objective? We've got the objective to spend more time with your son. Yeah. So doubling up your leads moves you away from that objective rather than towards it. Is there any other business objectives? You talked about the business getting to 104,000 in revenue now. Where would you like to see, if you had a magic wand and you waved it over this business, where would you arrive in 12 months' time?
So that comes to my target, which is I want to do at least 200,000k a year in revenue.
Okay, great. All right, brilliant. So we want to get to 200k a year. So let's go backwards and let's work that out. So your objective is 200k a year, but then you've got a time objective here. You want to spend more time with your son, okay? So I understand very clearly and very measurably the income target, but let's actually get very clear and measurable on the time with your son and how much you work in the business. So you told me, you've walked in here. In fact, for the camera, you can tell everyone what you said to me when you came in. You said, look, I've been working, I'm tired. Give us a bit of an overview about how you feel right now.
So, I've spent 3 hours driving here. I was up here at 6:30. Drove here to do this for the lovely viewers. And tonight I'll be going back home, seeing my son for a little bit, and then I'm going to go straight back out to sing tonight at a club. And same again tomorrow. I'll be doing exactly the same.
So talk to us about singing at that club. So you've come here, we're working on the business, right? You've got to go and you're driving home. You can see your son, you spend some time with your son. How long are you spending with your son today?
Today I will probably get to see him for about an hour before I have to go again.
Okay, cool. All right, tell me about the singing tonight. What does that look like?
So that's just people come into a club and they watch entertainment, which is me. So I was on the X Factor 2013. I got to Gary Barlow's house. I still sing all around the UK, as you know, because you booked me. And people come in, they watch me, I entertain them. That's 2 sets of 45 minutes that I sing, and I have a good laugh. I get people up on stage to sing with me, that sort of stuff. So you're
going to do that tonight?
That'll be tonight.
And then tomorrow, you're going to do the same thing, are you?
It's exactly the same thing, minus this.
So are these numbers incorporated in the business numbers that you've given me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the delivery of the service, yeah?
Oh, no, sorry, not for my business. No, this is just outside of the business.
Okay, so this
Yeah.
is separate. This
This
is
is
not in
separate.
the revenue
Not in-
figures.
no.
This is another thing that you do.
Yeah.
And how often are you doing this?
Most weekends.
Okay.
If I haven't got a wedding, I'll definitely do one. Whereas if I have a wedding, I will look and see if it's doable.
So would you almost say that you're running two businesses?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. So you're running your own personal service, your personal brand singing,
Yeah.
going out there singing. And what would you typically get paid for one of these two sets?
Around 250.
So 250
Yeah,
quid.
250 quid, yeah.
Okay. So you're not doing it for the money, you're doing it for the love.
Yeah. for
Would
the
that be
love.
fair to say?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, cool. But then you're also saying that this is compromising the time of your son.
Well, he's asleep when I'm doing this, so it's not too bad, because when he's asleep, I can go and work, bring in some more money, which then I can spend on him to take him to
Okay,
Disneyland
cool.
Paris or something.
All right. So what we've got here is something that's very common within a business. You've got a passion, something you're passionate about. You've got a family that you want to be with and spend time with and look after. And you've got a business which is rapidly growing. In fact, it's trebled. And in order to go up, you've got to give up. Most people think that they need a bigger to-do list, but often what they need is a stop doing list. And they need focus and they need to eliminate distractions. I'm about to dive into the business, but the thing is, if I give you all these actionable steps and these things to do, and then you go off and you do 4 sets over the next 2 weeks and you haven't got any time and you're tired and you're worn out, it means that you're not going to work effectively on your business. So I think what we've got to look at is putting some boundaries and some discipline in around your singing. Now, what I would suggest is that these at 250, that's not the highest use of your time. In fact, it's actually quite a low income generating task, because for the wedding singing, how much do you charge?
So a sing waiter set for 2 singers is 1297.
Okay. So it's 5 times the amount of money
Yeah.
for doing the same thing.
Yeah. Well, less actually.
So
Singing wise, less, because we do 8 songs, but it's very interactive.
Okay. So is it becoming obvious to you what needs to go?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, right. So we need to look at, this is what I would do. So this would be my guidance for you. Because what we're trying to do here, it's easy for me to get into numbers and say, right, nurture this, do this with your ads, do this with that. Yeah, bang, bang, bang. There you go. You doubled your revenue. You got your 200 grand. That's fine. But the problem is, if we burn you out in the process of getting there, that's no good for you. We've got to actually holistically look at everything. So this is what I would do. The first thing that I would do is I would book 1 Lee Price personal a month. And I would pick your job and I would go there and I'd be excited about it and I would love it and I would do the best thing that you could do and go and really give it and enjoy it and have your focus on it. And that way, you still get your hobby, you still get to enjoy being the star, doing the thing you're going to do, but you're not dotting all over the place. And what you're doing is you're reserving and retaining what we call brain space. Okay? So let me just flip back and tell you why this would be my guidance. I enjoy speaking. Speaking is one of my passions. I love to speak. I love to be in front of a big audience. I've spoken to 3,000 in South Africa, 1,000 in London, 500 in London all the time, 450 in Scotland. I've been all over the world doing this. And frankly, I could book gigs to go and speak every day, all day, get in front of people and get paid to do it. But if I did that, I wouldn't have a business. And the reason I wouldn't have a business is because I'd be doing my passion, but I wouldn't be building the business and making the impact that I want to make. So at some stage, as much as I enjoy it, I've got to look at the bigger picture. Now, what I do though, is I allow myself 1 speaking gig, and I do it per quarter actually. I say we'll do 1 a quarter, but you really at this stage, you're starting to tone down on it. I would first of all go with 1 a month. And that for you is going to mean some lost income, but this is really important. And this is really important, not just for you, for anyone else that's watching, is you're going to take a slight dip on your income, but what you're going to do is you're going to buy back your time, you're going to buy back your brain space, you're going to buy back your creativity, which means that you're going to be able to be the best version of yourself and show up for your business, but also show up for your son without having to run off to go and do the gigs and stuff like that, even if he's not there, right? And this is then going to allow you to go and take your business from 100 to 200 with what we give you next. And I'm going to break that down in a moment of exactly how we do that. Now, what you're going to lose, let's say you do you do 2 of these a week? 1 a week?
Yeah, roughly 2 a week.
2 a week,
Yeah.
right? So if you're 250, that's 500 quid a week. So you're about to take a £2,000 pay cut personally, right, out of these gigs that you're doing. But your job now, and this is so important, like this is actually a really big entrepreneurial lesson for people, because people prioritize income sometimes, and especially if cash flow's hard and tough and it feels like you need to keep the wheels in motion, you need to be grinding, you need to be earning, all that kind of thing. But that's not going to be what gets you to the next level. What gets you to the next level is going to be protecting your brain space, protecting your creativity, and getting yourself into a good place. So you're going to take a £1,750 a month pay cut, but we're going to invest and we're going to buy back our time. And now what we've bought back is if it takes you an hour to drive there, 3 hours to do the thing, an hour hanging out, and another hour driving back, you've now got yourself 12 hours a week back, and you've got yourself some rest, which means you're going to be more productive in your business. Does that make sense? Yeah. Can you do that? Yeah. Okay, great. So that's the first thing that I would do. Now we've done that, we've got a little bit of time back, which is powerful. Now we've got to work on this, because now you've got the brain space to actually say, do you know what? I put my son to bed. Let's open a laptop. Let's work on these different things. Actually, now I'm going to talk to the sales team that we start to build, because I've got a bit of time back and I'm not stressed. I'm not running all over the place. Okay. So this is what we're going to look at here. Let's start to break down this part of it. So 104 leads generated for March. 4 sales pretty much as what's been generated. 4 or 5 sales have been generated from the business. So the reason that you generate leads, you've got 2 choices when it comes to lead generation. You can go high volume, which is basically what you're doing, especially for a small business, where you bring in loads of leads and you bring them in really, really cheap. Awesome, right? There's that opportunity. But if you're going to do that, you're going to have to put a lot more time into the qualification.
Yeah.
Because actually the result you're getting is good, but because you're grinding it so much, you don't think it's good, right? So we're going to look at that and we're going to unpack that in a minute. So the qualification aspect is going to have to come in. Or if you don't want to do the qualification, we can go low volume, high quality. So we could actually pay more per lead, make those leads jump through more hoops to be able to get onto a call with you. And that way they're more qualified when they come on. And I'm just going to give you the 2 benefits, especially for people that are watching as well. So benefit number 1 of high volume, and this is a big benefit, is you build a list. And that means that if you're just generating 100 leads in March and 100 and obviously in April, in May, in June, in July, and you're getting these 100 leads coming in, pop, 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 that means you're building a list of 1,200 people a year, right, which are going on your list. That is valuable because we can sell them other stuff and we can get them to buy later on down the line. But I'm sensing there's a problem in that you've only really got 1 product. But we'll come to that in a moment, right? So if I had 1 product, I wouldn't be going with high volume, right? Because I would probably go with high quality, because the benefit of going high volume is to build a list to sell them more stuff in the future, okay? So that's what you go with. You either go high volume, low quality, or low volume, high quality. So you pick your methodology. Now for this, I actually think that the easiest solution is to keep doing what you're doing and keep generating the leads, but take some of the investment and invest that in the building of a sales team, which you've identified as what we're going to do. But I wanted to break this down a bit. So what we're going to do is, if we were able to, imagine that in April, May, we're in April now, but imagine in May, we're able to generate the same amount of leads, but we're able to go from 4 to 8 deals. That's going to give you, basically it's going to double the revenue, yeah? You're going to have another £6,500 in revenue. Yeah. So if we go now to the sales team in just a moment, let's just give you a recap on this. Nothing wrong with this. Ad spend, is fine where it is. Sales are fine where it is. Leads are fine where they're at, but we've got to qualify them better. And your return on investment is awesome. In order for you to get to 200 grand, this strategy is going to be really, really easy. It just means that instead of spending 900 a month, we're basically going to have to spend 3,000 a month to get to the 200 grand. But we can't do that because you're going to burn yourself out in the process. So let's go to the sales team now, which is going to add to that. So where's your sales team slide? You said you wanted to create a sales team. Okay, cool. So this is what I would do. I actually don't think there's a problem with your conversation rate or your conversion rate. I don't think there's a problem with that at all. I think we're okay. I think what we need to do is qualify and nurture. So to number one, we're going to give you a qualify plan and a nurture plan to nurture these people. And we're going to do one other thing is we've got to sell to the list. So that's number one. But number two is directly linked. So let's jump into number two. So number two, creating a sales team. This is the easy steps, right? You don't need a sales team at this rate, at this stage. But what you do need is you need to start the creation of a sales team. Because when people are like, I want a sales team, you're imagining lots of different people. First thing you need to do is you need to go from you doing all the work to having one ally with you. And that ally is a setter. So we need to hire a setter that is going to set the calls. So this is the process. This is what happens. Right? On number one, we generate 104 leads. Your setter calls the leads the moment they come in. Okay? And the moment they come in, they are going to do a couple of things. They're going to call that person and they are going to elevate you. You're going to be the star of the show. So this is what they're going to do. Setter is going to call the leads immediately. Now, this is what's going to happen. Customer journey changes from inquire. When do you call them? Day later? 2 days later?
No, it's sometimes the same day.
Same day?
Yeah.
But what, 3 hours?
Between an hour and maybe 6.
Okay, so
obviously, if it's the end of the day, it'll be the next
6 day. hours, they don't know who you are. How many calls say, I don't know who you are? Do you get a bit of that?
I get the odd one or two saying, who is it?
Yeah, okay, cool. But the other ones, how do they respond to you when you call them?
They get really excited.
Okay.
And then I jazz them up about their wedding day.
Okay, cool. All right, so you do a fair job of that, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to move to essentially what we call a 2 call, right? So we're going to move to 2 calls. The first call we're going to do, your setter, and I'll tell you how to hide this in a minute, is going to ring them the moment that the lead comes in. Not an hour later, not 3 hours later, not 6 hours later. They're going to get a zap automated to their email, or we're going to put it on a Google Sheet or whatever. Using Zapier, you know how to use that? Yeah, cool. So we're going to get a zap to get that lead called immediately by your setter. When the setter calls them, they are going to say, thank you for your inquiry. I think it's really awesome that you've made an inquiry to us. And they're going to be getting that call within like 30 minutes. And they're going to remember who you are because they've had that call straight away. On that call, they are going to build you up. They're going to build the business up. And they are going to use all the halo effect stuff. So their main objective here is twofold. One, to build you and your business and your profile. And 2, set up a formal booked call. Okay? So not a random call, a formal booked call. Okay? So presumably, you're calling them, you're nurturing them, then you're calling them again, etc. I want to come out of that process and I want to set a formal booked call up. This is what's going to be improving the conversion rate. So when they call them, the set will say something like, hey, thanks for your inquiry to, Secret Service wedding singers. Really, really appreciate that. I just wanted to give you a quick call to acknowledge that we've got your inquiry. I don't know if you know Lee. Are you familiar with Lee? They'll be like, no, I don't know Lee. Well, Lee, he was on the X Factor. He was at Gary Barlow's house. He is world class. He's amazing. His voice is absolutely incredible, and he creates sensational wedding days for people. And you're really, really, really pleased to talk to you about your wedding day. When is your wedding day? Then they're going to find out when's your venue and all that kind of stuff, right? So they're going to get the baseline data and they're going to say, look, just want to let you know, we are 6 times award winning. We're the best at this. Our service is very unique. It's very special and dates are very, very limited. So we are literally booked out way in advance. But, I really like the sound of, helping you and working with you. The next stage of this process is for me to get Lee onto a call with you so he can meet you, talk to you about your special day. So what we're going to do is we're going to book you a call with Lee, and that call will be 30 minutes. You'll get to meet him. He can start to map out what your wedding day is going to look like and how it's going to be. And we're like, okay, cool. Now, the important thing, though, is if I book this call in for you, is that Lee's time is very, very limited. He only can work with a select few people. We're in high demand right now because of, how many awards we've won, the fact he's been on X Factor and he's working with all these amazing people. So I want to make sure of a couple of things, that if we book this space out of Lee's diary, you're 100% going to be able to make it. So we need to synchronize dates there now. I also want to let you know that we have packages from between £1,000 to £3,000 or whatever your numbers are. You give them a two between, from 1,000 to 2,000, whatever it is. And we wanted to make sure that that's financially viable for you before we book this call in, because we are an elite service. We are the best of the best. Do you want your wedding to be the best, most memorable wedding ever? Yes, I do. Okay, well, we get this book call in, and this is going to be incredible. So we then book the call in. They now turn up to the call. They think you're the man because your setter has elevated you like crazy. You can take the transcript of what I just said, put in some qualification questions, and you're rocking, right? They think you're amazing. They come on the call. They know the prices. All you got to do is give them your sensational lead charm. You're now much more energized because you stopped running off to all these gigs, right? And then you're going to go and you're going to love them up, and then you're going to book them in, and they already know the prices. That alone, that 2 steps will stop you from feeling overwhelmed, stop you from running around, chasing people up, chasing shadows. It will get you faster decisions. It will increase your conversion rate. It will make you more money. And the £2,000, we might have to pay a setter anyway. They can start off at, probably part-time at £1,000 a month with a little bit of comms, and then we can get them to £2,000 a month in time if they go full-time for you. And that one person alone, that one hire, will help us to double conversion rates, take you from 7,000 to 14,000, buy back your time, put you in a better place, and make everything in your business way easier, and will literally double your sales. Does that sound good?
Sounds sexy, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Right, so that's what we want to do. So your number 2, let's just go over this. Number 2, you don't need to create a sales team, you just need a setter. Yeah. And then eventually, guess what? The next step is then we replace you on the second call. So we replace you on the first call, because that's what you're doing at the moment, which is why it feels like a grind. Let's buy back our time, let's get somebody else to do that. And then, after we've got this process, you've got an amazing setter, what we then do is we probably hire another setter and we promote your existing setter to closer, or we go and hire a closer. It's that simple. Then you'll have a 2-man team. And then you'll just be turning up at the books, and they'll be collecting the money, and you'll be like, oh, I'm in the park, playing with my son, loving life, right? And we're all good. We're not going to have to worry about all of this stuff, and your revenues will be double, will be treble, and you'll be in a much better place, which gets you objective number 3. Yeah. So let's just give a quick recap. Then what we're going to do is, just to top this off, are you totally getting all these steps? You're getting this?
100%.
Yeah, you get it. Okay, cool.
I'm already picturing the automation.
You're picturing it, you're getting it here. Okay, now this is the final thing. There's a couple of final things that are not on your slides that I want to share with you that you haven't brought up. Is if we're going to keep generating this volume of leads, spending 900, getting 100 leads, when you go to 2,000, because you're going to need to fill your setter up, and you're doing way less calls, you're going to get 200 leads. When you go to 3,000 ad spend, it might go up and down a little bit. When you go to 300 leads, then you go to 4,000 ad spend, and you've got 400 leads. You've got 400 leads a month coming in, because people getting weddings all over the country. We need to be able to sell them more than just this service. So we need to be then setting up our email marketing, which literally has different offers. So what else do these people ask you for currently that you can't help them with or can't supply them with?
To be completely honest, they just are after the singing waiters. I do have packages with add-ons like at the DJ. So when I ask them their qualification questions, I say, like, if you've got your evening sorted for a DJ or a band, if they say no, I can then add that into a package and upsell. But as we are known as singing waiters, we haven't really got the need to like throw in a photo booth because there's no point. So really it is just the one method, one thing that we're known for, and that's what we're sticking with. And then we can upsell things, like I said, like DJ packages, evening performances where the singers, all the singers that I have, they've all, like me, been on the West End, X Factor. Yeah, so they get
I've had the service, so I know the quality of it's really good. I just feel that your business, it's a good business. We're doing 100,000. We're going to get, by the way, you're going to get to 200 grand, right? The simple way to get to 200 grand is you hire a setter, and this is the outcome. You treble the ad spend, and you watch the conversions go up, and you stop running off doing your personal stuff, and you focus on your business. That's how we get to the 200 grand. But we also need, and this is what I would say from here, is to start really strategizing what other product. You're going to get people on your list, and we can look. I mean, I would consider a potential joint venture with somebody that is already doing other services, so that in your nurture sequence you can negotiate a percentage and you can start introducing other services that people have at weddings, if you haven't got it already. So rather than you making it up, like if there's a photo booth company that you can just put in your email chains and get 25% of the booking, you trust them, you have a good relationship with them, let's add that in because they want it anyway. If there is a pizza van that goes to weddings, a really posh one, I actually know one, I've got a client that does one, and you can add that in, even if you do promotions and you set up joint ventures to get you more business and you work as a little team, 4 of you providing wedding services, working as a team, crossing leads to each other is another way you can get real high quality and make more money. Eventually, where you start is not where you end. And this is what I want to communicate and get across to everyone watching. And at the moment, you've started, you've done really well, you've got talent, you're building a business now, and people watching this, you said earlier, I was doing 29 grand, I've gone to 100 in a year, I've gone 6-time award winning. You're doing really well. Where you start is not where you end. You trebled your revenue. But now I want to be is like, well, how far can we take this? You want to get to 200. I'm like, how can we get you to 1 million? And the way that we're going to get you to 1 million is not just to do the singing, it's actually to evolve this business into a wedding brand. And I would really start looking at what are the highest income generating opportunities that you can build in and start to become familiar with. A couple of things, I'll give you a couple of tips on that. It's not about, you haven't asked about this, so this is just bonus stuff. But I'm thinking bigger for you because I want you to think bigger. Because 200 grand, we're going to do that. It's like bop, 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 double the revenue. No problem. Right? But getting you to £1 million is the next phase. And the way that we're going to do that is by building a wedding brand, not just a singing brand. So the final thing that I would sort of add to you is go to the wedding shows, go to the trade shows, see what's hot. You now got some spare time. See what people are going crazy over. Build relationships with other suppliers, other people, and see what you can build in, because this eventually has to be a wedding brand that we can take to £1 million plus. Look, I think you're incredible. You are A player of the month for a reason. You trebled your revenue. You've done really well. You've built a great brand. You're 6-time award winning. You're helping loads of other people in our Gold Circle community. You deserve all the success you can get. Can you follow these things we discussed today?
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. And then let's take you to £1 million, Lee. Well done, buddy.
Cheers.
Awesome stuff, man.
Thank you.
Great. Well done.